And welcome back. I have a big update for you guys regarding the California housing market, and it's not looking pretty. The California Association of Realtors just announced a new report today at the time of this video, which is the 16th of November, and they report some pretty dire trends we're seeing right now in California. Number one here, housing inventory in California across the state, nation or statewide, I should say, is up by 61% on a year-over-year basis. So we have approximately 61% more houses for sale right now compared to 1 year ago. But even though we have 61% more houses for sale right now, pending home sales are down by 51% on a year-over-year basis. Therefore, even though we have far more houses for sale right now, pending home sales are tanking big time, down by 51%. I have a lot more to share in today's video, so hope you guys get a lot of value in today's video. And of course, if you do, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And of course, if you guys are looking for a real estate agent referral, whether you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in the United States, then check out that link below, which is homeandmoney.com/Jason to get started today. And with that said, let's begin today's video because there's some pretty crazy trends here. So again, this is from the California Association of Realtors, just announced this on the 16th of November. And have a look at this. It says here, according to the association, California's housing market continued shifting in October as the monthly average 30-year fixed rate mortgage hovered around 7%. And by the way, at the time of this video, rates are around 6.6%. But because rates have been increasing so much over the past several months, this has led to the lowest sales level since February of 2008 and the largest year-over-year decrease in home sales since December of 2007 outside this pandemic. But wait, there's more. Home sales in California have been on a downward trend for 16 consecutive months on a year-over-year basis. The monthly 10.4% decrease in home sales was the worst long-term run average, a gain of 0.5% recorded between a September and an October in the past 43 years. So in other words, over the past 43 years, the average month-to-month increase or change in home sales from September to October was a gain of 0.5%. But this year, home sales decreased by 10.4% on a month-over-month basis. And also, according to the California Association of Realtors, pending home sales decreased by 50% from 1 year ago. So we can expect additional decreases in home sales in the months to come. So that's just kind of like a brief summary about what we're seeing right now in the California housing market. Some very, very big changes here, especially compared to this spring. This spring was absolutely insane. We had so much demand and what several months of changes. So the market's been shifting big time. So I want to go over a couple of slides with you guys that was from the California Association of Realtors. I actually whittled this down from 60 pages down to about half that. So I want to share at a high level overview what we're seeing right now across the state, in California, of course. And I'm going to be sharing also a detailed analysis regarding home prices, though, because based on my analysis, we're seeing some very big changes occurring for the California housing market. So definitely stay tuned for that. And this video took me hours to make, by the way, too, because there's so much analysis involved. So I definitely appreciate you guys watching this video and hitting the like button. All right, so let's talk about the California housing market as a whole. And this is kind of like a one-page summary regarding some trends we're seeing right now, which is just, I don't know, it's hard to believe. Anyways, 274,000 home sales. That's a seasonally adjusted annualized rate. So if you take home sales for October, multiply that by 12, do a seasonal adjustment, you would have 274,000 home sales over the next 12 months. So again, home sales for existing houses, which by the way, this analysis here excludes brand new home sales. It only includes existing houses, which are resale houses. Again, home sales down by 36.9% compared to 1 year ago, and year to date, home sales down by 18.5%. This is where it really gets spicy though, because look at this, home prices, the median sold price for October was just over $801,000. That's only an increase by 0.3% from October 2021. So we're very, very close to being in the negative territory for the state as a whole. Unsold inventory index is sitting at 3.3 months. That's an increase by 83.3% from 1 year ago. Also, look at this. Days on the market is 23 days. So it's taking more than twice as long to sell a house, at least as of the end of October compared to 1 year ago. That's an increase by 109.1%. So we're seeing a decrease in home prices over the past several months. Inventory has been increasing big time, up by 83% for their index and up by 109% for days in the market, which is absolutely crazy. Anyways, have a look at this. Here's home sales at a high level. And by the way, I should remind you guys, I tend to make 2 videos per month regarding the California housing market. My first video, which is this one, I kind of go over a high overview about what we're seeing right now at the state level. And stay tuned for my second video I'll make in a few days here regarding what we're seeing at the county level and city level as well. And there's some big changes there as well because there's several cities or several counties that are recording decreases in home prices on a year-over-year basis, which is more or less unheard of over the past couple of years. Anyways, have a look at this. Again, the seasonally adjusted annualized rate is 274,000 existing home sales in California, down by almost 37% on a year-over-year basis. And just looking at this graphic right here, the decrease in home sales we've been seeing so far this year is just kind of crazy because we really haven't seen anything like this, excluding the pandemic here, going back to really 2007, as you can see right here. So home sales have been tanking big time. And part of that is due to obviously a slowing in home buying demand, but also because we're seeing fewer new listings hitting the market. I have some more news to share regarding that here in a little bit. So home sales have dropped by more than 30% for the third time in the past 4 months, down by 37% right now, which is just absolutely insane. Also, here's sales by region. The vast majority of the home sales in California come from SoCal. That represented about 45% of all home sales for October. In the Central Valley, where I live and work as a real estate agent, it represents 22% of all home sales in the region or in the state. And approximately 20% of home sales for October came from the San Francisco Bay Area. Here's another funny graphic that I tend to laugh at every single month. It says October 2022 home sale growth by region. But as you guys can see here, home sales decreased by double digits in every single major region here in California, down big time in SoCal, down by 40.8%, for example. Here's also the percent change in home sales on a year-over-year basis. And so we're not really seeing a decrease or a slowdown in our housing market in one particular neighborhood or one particular county or region in California. It's very much widespread. And also it's very much widespread amongst different price segments as well. Because homes that sold for over $2 million, at least as of October, were down by 37% on a year-over-year basis. Houses that sold in the range of $1 million to $2 million, down by 34%, and so on. Every single price segment here decreased by at least 34% on a year-over-year basis. Now, I want to share this graphic with you guys because what we're seeing right now is so much different compared to 2021, for example. Back in 2021, during the spring months, we saw a huge increase in home sales compared to the previous years, which obviously makes sense given the fact that in 2020, we had the onset of pandemic, right? But we did see this huge increase in luxury home sales, over $2 million and in the range of $1 million to $2 million back in the spring months of 2021. But now we're seeing a huge decrease over the past several months. And also, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video here, pending home sales were down by 50.5% on a year-over-year basis, which is absolutely insane. And this is quite possibly the biggest year-over-year decrease we've been seeing, at least going back to 2017. All right, let's talk about home prices in California because I have so much to share because I did a lot of analysis regarding what we're seeing right now in California. I have more to share regarding that here in a little bit. Holds up, but growth continues to decelerate. So again, the median sold price, $801,000 right now, only a gain of 0.3% on a year-over-year basis. And by my analysis, this 0.3% increase in home prices on a year-over-year basis is actually the smallest increase we've been seeing since October of 2011. Now that's based on my own analysis here, so I want to share that with you guys right now. This is from a download that I pulled from the California Association of Realtors website, which is more or less these two columns right here. And I added this column right here and a bunch of other these metrics here to kind of share current price trends we've been seeing across the state. Can't talk today. Anyways, $801,000. Again, that's the median sold price. This hasn't been this low since February of 2022, when the median sold price was $771,000. Now it's just over $801,000. Also, by my note right here, the median sold price in California has declined in 4 out of the last 5 months. Now, this is vastly different compared to May of this year, when the median sold price was just over $900,000. And that was the all-time record high for home prices in California. And ever since then, home prices have been declining in 4 out of the last 5 months. On top of that, this is the 5th consecutive month where we've been seeing single-digit growth on a year-over-year basis. Again, increasing by 0.3% on a year-over-year basis right now. And we've been seeing single-digit gains ever since June of this year. Now, as I mentioned, this 0.3% increase in home prices on a year-over-year basis here, again, is the slowest pace we've been seeing since October of 2011. So have a look at this. I actually kind of color code this for you guys, because back in October 2021, home prices increased by 12.3% compared to October of 2020. Then in October 2020, on a year-over-year basis, home prices increased by only 17.5%. 2019 increased by 5.8%. 2018, 4.7%. Now, I do want to pause on this right here because back in 2018 is probably the most recent year we've been seeing a gain in mortgage rates for the year. I believe that mortgage rates started around 4% back in the early parts of 2018, and they ended about 4.5%. Back in November, they reached about 5%. But in any case, rates were increasing in 2018 and our housing market did slow down big time. But as you can see right here, on a year-over-year basis, home prices still increased by 4.7% from October 2017 to October 2018. But again, this year, home prices only increased by 0.3%. So that's really telling to me regarding what we're seeing right now. In any case, have a look at this. October 2017 compared to October 2016, prices only increased by 6.4%. 2016, 7.3%. 2015, on a year-over-year basis, increasing by 6.3%. 2014, 5.4%. And look at this, 2013 increasing by 25.4%. Look at these giant gains we saw back in 2012 and especially in 2013. October 2012 up by 22.9%. But here it is, October 2011 down by 9.1%. So the year-over-year gains at 0.3% is the lowest readings we've been seeing since October 2011, where home prices declined by 9.1%. But wait, there's more. So here's what I did. I wanted to see how the change in home prices have compared to the record highs we saw back in May. So we'll look at the percent change in home prices from May 2022 until October 2022. And by my math right here, home prices have declined by 11% from the peak. So home prices have declined by 11% from May 2022. That's down from $900,000 all the way down to now $801,000. So in the span over the past 5 months, the median sold price in California have declined by $100,000. Also, the big significance regarding this is that this 11% decrease in home prices from May of this year to October this year is actually greater than the gains, or actually the decreases we saw from May through September that I reported last month. And my note right here, home prices declined by 9% from May through September, but now they're down by 11% in the span of just 5 months. Now, to me, when I took a step back here and said, hey, 11% decrease in over the last 5 months, everyone knows our housing market tends to slow down in the second half of the year, but down by 11% sound a little bit excessive. So here's what I did for you guys. I want to look at home prices, or the changes in home prices during the same time period in 2019 as well as 2018. Again, from May through October in 2019 as well as 2018. So back in 2019, home prices declined by 0.9% during that time frame. And also in 2018, they only decreased by 4.8%. So this year declining by 11%, but back in pre-COVID times, back in 2019, only decreasing by 0.9%. In 2018, only declining by 4.8%. So this 11% decrease in home prices that we've been seeing over the past 5 months is much, much worse compared to 2018 as well as 2019. Now, in my personal opinion, the best comparison to this year, to years past, is back in 2018, because obviously that's pre-COVID, and also obviously during a time where mortgage rates were increasing as well. I would say again that mortgage rates were only increasing by about 0.5% for the year, whereas this year we started at 3.3%, and now rates are about 6.6%. So rates have doubled this year, which is so much different compared to previous years. But it's very telling to me that where mortgage rates only increased by about 0.5% in 2018, and home prices decreased by 4.8%. But this year, home prices declined by almost 3 times that amount. Also, one more thing I want to mention regarding home prices here as well is that home prices from October 2020 until now, until October 2022, over the past 2 years, is only a 13% gain in the median sold price here in California. Now, to me, this is pretty wild because home prices only increased by 13% over the past 2 years. But going back to September 2021, which is around 1 year ago, on a year-over-year basis, home prices increased by 13.5%, because that's really decreasing our home price gains over the past 2 years. All right, let's get back to these slides from the California Association of Realtors, but please leave me a comment below with your thoughts regarding that analysis here. That analysis took me forever to make, so hope you guys appreciate that. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about home prices here in California. Again, only up by 0.3% on a year-over-year basis here. And I would suspect that next month, and I always tell you guys back in November and December, these trends are going to look a lot worse. So I would not be surprised at all to see decreases in home prices on a year-over-year basis next month. We shall see, right? The price per square foot in California is $404. That's even with last month, and an increase compared to 1 year ago by 3.9%. And as you can see right here, price per square foot has been more or less leveling off over the past couple of months. Now, here's another eye-opening trend we're seeing right now, because the sale price to list price ratio has dipped to its lowest levels since January of 2019. So that ratio is 97.3%. And what that means is that home sellers in October sold their houses for about 3% below their asking price, or their final asking price, in October, which is much different compared to 2021 and the early parts of 2022, when that ratio was well above 100%. Now, here's something also that's just eye-opening as well, and I just can't get over how many eye-opening trends there are here in this report here. But take a look at this. These are the percent of houses that sold above their seller's asking price. So have a look at this. In October, approximately 26.3% of houses that sold above the seller's asking price. Another way to look at that, though, is this right here, because that means approximately 74% sold at or below the seller's asking price. Let me say that again. Approximately 26% sold above their seller's asking price, whereas approximately 74% sold at or below the seller's asking price, which is just absolutely insane, because 1 year ago, approximately 60% of all home sales were selling over the seller's asking price. Also, during the summer months or the spring months of this year, that ratio was about 73%. Here's something also wild as well, because mortgage rates have been increasing so much. The average for October, according to Fannie Mae, was 6.90% for the average 30-year fix for people with exceptional credit, of course. And 1 year ago, rates were at 3.07%. So rates have more than doubled over the past 12 months. And this is causing the average monthly mortgage payment to increase by 55.1% on a year-over-year basis. Now, what really stands out to me, and I actually just noticed this, is that home price growth have increased by 55.1%. So mortgage rates, or average monthly mortgage payments, has been increasing despite the fact that home prices have been declining more or less ever since April of this year, as you can see right here. Home price growth has been very much slowing, only at a 0.3% increase on a year-over-year basis. Therefore, this increase in your average monthly mortgage payment is really due to this giant increase in rates that we've been seeing over the past 12 months. Okay, let's talk about inventory in California. So have a look at this. The month supply is at 3.3 months right now. 1 year ago, it was 1.8 months. So what this number means right here is that if we had no more new listings, if we had no other houses being listed for sale, at the current sales pace, all those houses would be sold in 3.3 months. 1 year ago, it was 1.8 months. In other words, the month supply is nearly twice as much as it was 1 year ago. Now, here's a look at housing inventory or housing supply in California over the past few years. So as you can see right here, housing supply has been more or less higher than 2021, or I should say much higher than 2021, and also much higher compared to 2020. The current levels we have right now, though, is below levels in 2019 as well as 2018. Also, as you can see right here, housing supply has been more or less plateauing out over the past several months. So we're not seeing this giant increase of inventory like we did at the beginning of this year. And part of that is due to this right here. We're not seeing enough new listings hitting the market. So for October, we had about 17,000 new listings, which is below last year at 19,904 and well below 2020, 2019, and 2018, when there was around 22,000 to 26,000 new listings during that time frame. Now, having said that, even though new listings have been decreasing down by 14.6% on a year-over-year basis, have a look at this because active listings, which of course is housing supply, is up by 61.3% compared to October of 2021. We haven't seen gains like this going back to at least 2015. In my personal opinion, the reason why we're seeing this huge increase of housing inventory is not due to an increase or a big increase of new listings, because as you guys can see right here, new listings are down by 14.6% on a year-over-year basis. And at 16,990 new listings in October of this year, this is well below the past several years, going back to 2018. So the increase of housing supply is not due to a giant increase of new listings. In fact, it's actually due to a decrease in home buying demand. We're seeing fewer contracts being signed between buyers and sellers, and it's taking longer for houses to sell, which is increasing housing supply. And you actually can see this right here because new active listings have exceeded home sales for the 7th consecutive month, which is much different compared to mid-2020. Let's just look at it. Yeah, mid-2020 all the way until really the early parts of 2022. Because during that time frame, we had far more home sales, which are the green bars right here, compared to new active listings in the blue bars right here. So what happened in 2020 through really the late parts of 2021 and early parts of 2022 is we had far more home sales than new active listings. So anytime a house got listed for sale, it sold very quickly, and that depleted housing inventory. But right now, at least for the past 7 consecutive months, we've been seeing more new active listings than home sales, and that's increasing housing inventory. Now, here's another trend we're seeing right now that's an indication of a housing market slowdown. And that's because days on the market is more than twice as it was 1 year ago. So the median days on the market is 23 days right now. 1 year ago, it was only 11 days. And lastly, because our housing market is slowing down big time, we're seeing more and more price reductions in the state. So approximately 46.3% of all active listings right now have already reduced their asking price. Now, this is much different compared to the early parts of this year when that percentage was around 15 to 20%, but now it's 46.3%. So something that caught my attention when I was looking at this graphic right here, and I really wish they kind of would zoom in and just show us like 2 years. Anyways, look at this though, because back in January of 2021, really all the way until more or less the spring months, the end of the spring months this year, the share of reduced price listings was increasing greatly. But over the past, 4 months, the share has been increasing, but as you can see right here, it's not increasing like we once did earlier this year. So in other words, we're seeing more and more reduced price listings compared to 1 year ago, but the growth rate is not as great as it once was. And by the way, one thing I want to mention regarding this is that 46.3% is more or less on par with the national average, according to altusresearch.com, because according to them, the national average for the share of price reductions is around 43%. So that's what I have for you guys in today's video. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of today's video. And if you did, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys had an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.